head coach Herbie Behm of ASU Swim and Dive. So excited to have you with us. Ari and I can't wait. I want to start off by asking about how exactly you established one of the fastest teams in the country in your first season as a head coach. But since then, what of these talented swimmers and divers do we need to be on the lookout? How would you describe this year's team?
This year's team is really good, like just substantially better than last year. It's pretty exciting for that. I think on the it's making a lot of noise nationally, but specifically on the men's side, our group of sprinters is pretty incredible. Like we've already had six guys under 19 seconds in the 50 free, which is first team to ever do that. I don't know if there's ever been a team with more than four. But that's something that's really cool, and it's really cool to view it from a coach's perspective that now it's just like it's a lot easier because they're constantly forcing each other to raise the bar. And now on the women's side as well, it's just a really deep team. I think it's certainly different from last year because last year we had Carolyn Bentz, who was like an all-star, and somebody who we could rely on like on any relay if we just needed somebody to dig us out. Caroline Caroline could do that. Now it's a different team to where there's a lot more depth, which is really cool. Like our quote unquote bottom of the team is really high, and it's like every person on the team really has a ability to make a big contribution on the at the Big 12 championship level. So yeah, it's been a ton of fun just watching that growth occur.
It's such an interesting story, not just your team this year, but your story taking over the program when you did. I'm just curious, take us through that when you found out that you're going to be taking over this program, how quickly it happened. Eddie Reese is obviously a legend, and then the domino effect of that. I'm just, again, curious kind of for how that all went down and when you knew and when you found
Yeah.
out.
So, well, the way I found out of being head coach was honestly as quick as everybody else, to where it was like, right after that, we had just won NCAAs, and then Bob texted the team like at like Sunday night at like 7 or 8 p.m. that he's like, "Hey, we everybody has to come in for a meeting tomorrow," and it was like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then the next morning at probably 8 a.m., he is like, "Hey, can you come in like right away and talk?" And I was like, "Oh, something is something's going on."
Right.
And then he told me he's going to Texas, and he's like, "Okay, the ADs are going to come over and talk to you." And it's like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on." And then they
Wow.
asked me to be the head coach, and it was obviously super exciting, but it's also like from my time here at ASU, it's been a ton of fun. Like something I just shared with the team. So 13 years and 2 days ago, ASU won the first ever, ASU's men won our first ever meet since we were cut in 2008. And I was on that team. So it was cool because that was my senior year of swimming. And it was like, took the entire time after the team was cut to win a single meet.
Wow.
And it's cool because it's just sharing that with the team. And that's like kind of how I've been a part of it the whole time, where it's just this constant growth. And now it's kind of shared that as a reminder to them that it's like, hey, this is a lot of hard work to get to where we are. We're now we're known as a pretty good team.
Right.
But I think knowing that growth and like being on the team right after it was cut, and there was actually every single meet I swam at except for that one we lost. So we know kind of how it
Wow.
um, feels to be a very much underdog. And that's what I'm most proud of this team, is that it's always more about just like the internal growth and like, okay, how can we make ourselves the best we can, kind of regardless of who we're competing against. And now it's cool because that's getting some really good results, but I think keeping the focus on ourselves and just how we make ourselves better is the name of the game, and that's what we want to maintain constantly.
What makes something like that happen? To go from a program that had been cut, that you had to sell raffle tickets for in order to
Yeah.
be able to compete, to now one that wins a national title in your first year as a head coach. How?
Yeah, I think I mean it's always the community. Like there's so many people. It's really cool. We have people who are so invested in this program and have been like the people who now I'm super close with who were the ones leading the charge and like had the idea of like, okay, we got to sell these raffle tickets and all of that way back. And they kind of always it's cool because I think it was never about winning. It was just about, okay, how do we preserve this? How do we make this something that we know it's really special to us? And it's always kind of been about us and what we want it to be. And like, okay, we have the ability to make it what we want it to be. And time again, and just doing that and that little bit of growth day after day has completely changed it. And I think that's attracted really talented people where, again, like now this last year in the transfer portal specifically, we had kids transferring in from who were already on really good teams who had had a lot of success, but kind of saw what we're doing and how we're doing it and wanted to be a part of it. And we've been able to make those ones a lot faster as well. And I think it's an interesting time in college sports, obviously. But now that our focus has always been on the individual's development, and that's something that I think we've gotten really good at, and that's why now we have people like you said, names of people to think about. Remy Fabiani is somebody who is, I mean, already a returning All-American, who was an All-American last year from Cal Baptist, but has I mean, he's probably gone 15 lifetime best times already this season,
Wow.
which is pretty rare in swimming to do in dual meets and things like that. And again, it's rare for a 24-year-old who's at the very end of his career to make that big of improvements. But I think it goes back to just our philosophy and how we view things.
Is Adam Cheney another one of those guys?
Yeah, yeah, Adam's pretty impressive, pretty impressive as well. Yeah.
But I mean, and obviously with Bob, his reputation, Eddie, at Texas as well, like those are two guys that coach so many Olympic swimmers.
Yeah.
So the reputation helps to recruit, so how
Oh
did
yeah.
you sort of pick up the ball and run with it once, Bob leaves?
Yeah. I mean, it's honestly kind of selling the vision of what I just said to where
Yeah.
it's always been possible here. Like I think we have everything we need to be successful. Again, in this current collegiate climate, it's sometimes like, okay, looking at what everybody else has, but when you look and realize, okay, we've got everything we need here, people kind of reframe how they're doing that, and then it's kind of doubling down on the environment. And that was something that
Mm.
I told the team as well, to where it was okay. Everybody had the option to leave for for a while, which it's funny because I always dream about, like, at least I always looked forward to being a head coach, and then you realize, oh man, I just have to convince like this is a crazy start of
Now
everything.
it's all on
Of
me.
like, please, yeah. So that part was wild, but yeah, kind of. I think it was a really good thing to where it's like, okay, guys, now we got to prove that this is something that we're doing and we've
Sustainable.
created kind of without the pre-established reputation, everything that Bob has, and that's obviously something he's earned and worked really hard to get. But then it was great for our team to say, like, okay, guys, we got this. We can keep the ball rolling. We know what we need to do, and now we
Mm.
just got to keep doing it.
That's awesome.
What is your team's culture? When you are taking over the program and you look back on what it used to be versus what it is now versus what's going to attract more student athletes to compete for you in the future, how do you describe it?
I think ultra specific in the training that we do, to where it's highly specific, individualized for them, and then as competitive as we can possibly make it. And again, that's like an internal competition. I think if we make competition about the just ability to improve oneself, that's really our culture, and that's again what we're constantly preaching, and the team is totally embodying as well. To where
Mm.
they're yeah, being challenged to eat better, to sleep better. I mean, our team's GPA has gone up as well. Something that was really cool last year, we did the math on it, and our average GPA of the people who were top 8 in the NCAA was 4.08. And actually, all of those people went on to win a medal at the World Championships.
Wow.
And then a group right below that, who was like 9 through 16 at NCAAs, was like a 3.85. People who made NCAAs individually was like a 3.6, and it was 100% correlated. So something we always say is how you do anything is how you do everything. And I think it's that standard that everyone has embodied here is what's allowed that, because again, like what we always tell them, it's like if you're training hard in the pool and then focusing in the classroom, you're just being kind of where your feet are all the time, and seeing the team embody that philosophy has been a really cool thing. And that's, I mean, I think why the performance has improved hand in hand.
Coach. Well, thank you for both Ari and I. We look forward to watching all of your swimmers and divers compete, and good luck the rest of the season.
Yeah, thank
Thanks,
you so
Coach.
much.